Question 2 comes from J Carable 95. Thoughts on slow and steady muscle gain without adding body fat, or faster muscle gain with increases in body fat. And he says, specifically asking as a lifter who is currently not enhanced, who feels they are too small when at 10 to 12% body fat and considering climbing to 15 to increase energy and to allow stronger workouts, pushing for optimal growth. So I'm always going to be a fan of driving that body fat up a little bit more than say the normal person probably would, only because that's going to give me more energy, going to give me more energy nutrients from the food because I can really push the food, and then 2, I'm going to be a lot stronger in the gym. So what I want to think about with that, unless I want to compete really quick short turnaround and then I would maybe look to keep my body fat lower, or if I did some kind of modeling, or let's say I was an Instagram influencer with my shirt always off, then you're gonna have to keep your body fat low. But if you're, in my opinion, pushing for optimal growth, you're gonna have to allow your body fat to climb up a little bit. Now, I'm not talking sloppy and disgusting to where you can't see any muscular definition, the veins in your arms and your legs go away. If you cough hard, you can't see your abs. If your stomach starts hanging over your pants or shorts, then that's obviously way too high. Like if you can reach down and grab a big chunk of fat, it's way too much. That is going to lead you into a place where you aren't insulin sensitive, or you aren't processing nutrients optimally. So I kind of like in the middle. I don't like to grow lean, but at the same time, I don't like to get sloppy fat. So somewhere in that middle range, especially for a natural guy, I'm going to probably push his body fat probably 12 to 15%, depending upon the person and how they store fat. And then on the flip side of that, if they've done a contest prep with me, they easily get in shape, and I know that. I have no problem letting their body fat drive up. But if you're someone who struggles to get into true contest condition, then I may want to keep you on the lower end of that, like more towards the 12 side. Only because I know that I don't want to diet off all the hard muscle that we've gained through an off season. So it's very person to person, but for the most part, I would say I fall somewhere in that middle range. I'm never going to want my guys to look like a power lifter or not resemble a bodybuilder when they are in the off season. But at the same time, I don't want to look 6 weeks out year round for the most part. Unless you're just one of those guys who have a really fast metabolism, who stays lean, I still, even if that is you, I'm going to try to push your food so aggressive. And even if that means adding some cheat meals, some free meals, doing fancy things in terms of like cereals and bagels and honey, on things that really get your carbohydrates and even your fat up, dietary fat up. So again, to answer that question, short, quick, and simple, it's going to be somewhere in the middle. If any of you guys follow me for a long period of time, you know I'm a huge proponent of just smashing food. So keeping protein somewhere around 2 grams per pound of lean mass. Or if you're really struggling to gain weight, I want to keep 2 grams per pound of what you want to weigh. So let's say I'm trying to push my scale weight to say 200. I'm going to at least eat 400 grams of protein there. Let's say I'm 185 and I want to try to push a 200. I'm going to eat to be a 200-pound bodybuilder. So that's a way that I can really kind of gauge everyone's always actions, like numbers and percentages. That's something to look. So again, I like higher protein. Obviously, I want to smash a ton of carbs, and then fat kind of, to me, always depends on your digestion. If you struggle to get a lot of food down, fat specifically will slow your digestion down. So we don't want a ton of that if you're struggling to get meals down. If I have a guy that comes to me and says, hey, I can't get all the food down, I'll pull their fat back, but not kick their carbs out or their protein out. And what they'll find is, man, I'm really hungry for my meals. And I kind of stumbled upon that when I did my first meal plan where I was extremely low fat. I found that my hunger was through the roof, where I came from a previous diet approach of having high fat, and I found that I was always stuffed. So that's a quick little tip there for you guys. Play around with those macronutrient totals. If you're struggling to digest protein, don't be scared to take your protein down some to like the 1.5 grams per pound range if you're struggling to eat the meat, and then keeping those carbs high. What people do tend to do for some reason, and I don't know why, is when their appetite sucks, they start pulling their carbs back. Well, that could be an issue that helps, but what I would encourage you to look at is what types of carbohydrates are slowing your digestion. If you're eating a ton of oatmeal, of course, because it's a ton of fiber. If it's potatoes, the fiber from the skin is potentially going to slow that down. Switch to a thing that's like rice, cream of rice, fruit, and that's going to be digested real quick and have a quick turnover ratio. So again, to answer that question, I kind of went on a tangent there with types of foods and macronutrient breakdowns, but somewhere in the middle, I want to try to push for growth. If your scale weight's not going up, if your strength isn't increasing in the off season, we're doing something wrong.